Hello, my creative friends, and welcome to the optional viewing personal vlog entry of yours truly. Here we are at week 8. 8 weeks into this whole venture of doing the daily vlog. If you haven't watched these episodes before, the personal vlog entry is where I'm basically going to talk about, my experience of doing the vlogging thing, the personal ups and downs, the challenges that come along with this. At the moment, I do have to say that I'm feeling pretty good. Nothing has substantially changed from last week. We incrementally have moved forward, but nothing that would take me out of that ponderous mood that I've been in the past couple of weeks. But you know, I think as I continue forward on this, every so often, okay. First of all, I think the idea of doing themed days is going to be really good. It has focused my attention so that on the different days I can be maybe a little bit more targeted. At the moment, I still haven't hit, I think I'm 0 for 7, 0 for 8, something like that, of trying to get them in under 10 minutes. I do want to, I don't really care, to be honest with you, about reducing the size of the length of the episodes. I do kind of on some level feel like the longer episodes are better because they enable me to give broader context. I'd make a very deliberate point to try not to just ramble and to try not to just talk about stuff. I really try to focus it and turn it into something of value for the viewer. So, you know, I don't feel like when I do a 20-minute, 25, 30 almost minute episodes sometimes, I don't feel like it's I mean, aside from these personal vlog entries, I don't feel like it's self-indulgent. I don't feel like I'm just talking. I really do feel like I'm trying to use that time to tie the threads together and to paint the picture for the audience. However, it does occur to me that if the goal is to actually build an indie film studio, and how do we get there? Well, I have to have writers develop all the skills that we actually need to be able to get there. So I built FAST. So I need everybody to go through FAST, or the ones that want to help me build the film studio anyway. If I'm creating new content that is compelling enough for those people, at least, that choose up a lot of their time to be able to do that, it can possibly work against us. I mean, it still becomes a lesson in time management for the writer. It still becomes that figuring out what that balance is. One of the great things that I've taught writers along the way, I think, and woven into the system is there's no right or wrong answer. It's like it's not a multiple choice question. It's like an essay question where you can't be right, you can't be wrong. It's a matter of do the essay, and then at the end we'll determine if it's effective or not. And if not, then we'll use the tools that we've got along the way to refine and hone the essay. And so it really forces writers to find the balance for them. What's the balance between how deeply do I dig into the step versus I got to keep moving forward. That balance will always be a subjective decision, and it will always be based upon where the writer is and where the writer needs to get to, and what the gap is between where they are and where they need to get to. And I sort of feel like the length of the episodes here is a bit the same, where if writers spend too much time watching this and not enough time getting work done, if other things pop up in their lives and they've got to focus on, what do I focus on? Do I focus on the thing that brings the income in each week? Or do I focus on the thing that's going to build the longer term, build my skills over the long term and hopefully build revenue over the long term if we can write for the film studio and make money off the movies that come in that we produce. That's always going to be a juggling act. That's always going to be something that writers will have to balance. And so I don't necessarily mind doing the longer episodes. I think for painting the full context picture, it's better. But I'm just that's a juggle. That's a struggle that I would never have really. I don't think I would have really pondered that at the beginning when I set out on this little adventure of doing the daily vlog thing. Now, overall this week, I have felt like even though we're not making, I haven't made substantial progress over the past week as far as, still, I don't think we have any new, I don't think we have any new participants. People aren't taking advantage of the first 100 riders offer. So I had this offer for, just to put it in context, I had an offer for the first 100 people to join the Fast Screenplay since the start of this vlog. The first 100 people will get automatic entry into the writer's room when they go through the process. Normally, everyone will have to go through the process, demonstrate that they have the skill so that they're actually ready for the writer's room. And once they qualify to get into the writer's room, then they'll be in the writer's room. But the first 100 people to go through will be the first, will basically get in automatically, even if they don't quite have the skills yet, because I'll be there to work with them. Keep in mind, ultimately, the big picture for this is not for me to produce every single film that's made by the film studio. I want to make the films at the beginning and certainly be, a producer on them. But, I want to get teams all around the world. And so it's not just about me. So on some level, just as I built the system so that I could focus my energies elsewhere and people would still learn from me and still learn from my experience and all the mistakes and that I've made and things that I've pieced together along the way. Just as that's an attempt to be a time-saving thing, also, I want to get to the point where I have that time-saving thing in the development side of things as well, where it's other people are running the writer's room. And so the idea was that the first 100 people would definitely get access to me. So what I'm actually thinking to do is change that. Since out of the first 100, I think we've had 6 or 7 people subscribe, and they're only subscribers, which means subscribers have not committed to going all the way. So subscribers may not go all the way. So if the current subscribers quit at some point or break their subscription or whatever, and they decide they're not going to be a part of it anymore, then we don't have 100 people anymore. So what I'm thinking to do is switch it. So it's no longer the first 100, it's the last 100. So it being the last 100 people to join while I will be there, while I will be a part of the writer's room, while I will personally be spearheading and steering the development of it. I don't know if that's going to make a difference. I think at this point there is a sufficient level of apathy toward me and what I do that kind of who gives a crap. Ooh, the last one, I get to be one of the last 100 to work with that guy that nobody cares about. Anyway, it's funny. It's funny now. Later on in retrospect, it's going to if I can build what I'm setting out to build, it's going to be really funny for people to watch and look back on and think, my God, wow. Anyway, but hindsight always being 2020, I have no doubt that people will look back at this from the future and be as perplexed as I express in these videos. That said, I'm not in any way, I'm feeling very, I don't know, maybe rejuvenated, my energy level's very high at the moment, because maybe because the story's starting to come together, maybe because I'm starting to really finally settle into the notion that maybe nobody's going to join me on this venture. I do have people who have been doing fast from before the writer's room idea began, or since we've been doing our test group, but before I started promoting it and talking about it, before I launched the daily prompt. And now that I've launched the daily prompt, I've noticed a big uptick in people within the system getting back and more energetic and more into it. Clearly, they're either watching this or it's starting to, oh, that's what this has been all about the whole time. You know, the great irony of all this is that I was prepared to make the movies of the very first people that went through the system. This has been the plan from day one. I just didn't talk about it. I wanted it to be a reveal. I wanted that reveal to be the most powerful thing in the world. And it would have been. But people didn't follow through. So now I'm making it more explicit. It has a twin effect. One is that it re-energizes or re-encourages people who maybe slipped away along the way, but it also draws the people who are interested in it for the wrong reasons. I had a guy draw a parallel to vanity publishing in communication with me, that sort of like, you know, you pay a printer to print your book, or in order to get published somewhere, you have to give them fees, and then they publish I get why that perception could be there, but it's just so fundamentally a misunderstanding of everything that I do and everything that I've built. And it just means if you were to perceive it that way, it just means that you're looking at the whole thing from a skewed angle, and you're not seeing what it is. You're trying to take it and put it into your existing mental model. I think this is the hardest thing for me with Fast Screenplay, and has been since the very beginning, is that stepping out of the existing model means, by definition, creating things that don't fit those definitions, right? So when people look at it and judge it and assess it, it's really hard to look at Fast Screenplay and not assess it as a screenwriting course, because we use elements from screenwriting courses to guide people through the process. So of course, a lot of people will go, oh, well, it's a screenwriting course, and they're forever going to use that mental construct, and by doing that, they're forever going to miss what it is. And because it's something there is no counterpart, there is no parallel. There might be in another industry. I don't know. I don't know everything on the world, but I know that in the screenwriting world, there is no parallel. If there was, it would exist, and it didn't, and that's why I built it. So the fact that there is no direct parallel, this has been the great challenge along the way of getting people to understand something that is intrinsically beyond the edge of their pre-existing way of looking at it, their pre-existing paradigm. And so it's a fascinating, I hope anyone who happens to be watching this, I hope you never go through something like this. It's a fascinating and incredibly maddening place to be, where you're trying to convey something, and the only language you have, or that other people understand, is a language that is not directly referential to it. It's intriguing. Anyway, the point that I was getting at, or I think the point, I always forget where I go on little stray tangents on this one, on maybe all of them. The point is that I've at least this week, I can't promise that it'll stay this way, but I've come to just realize it is what it is. It's okay. I forgive people for misunderstanding. I forgive people for judging me, and judging what I'm doing, or talking smack about it, or whatever, because you don't have full context. So how can I be mad at you for not having full context? I'm trying to present full context. I'm not sure that I can. I'm not sure that I can until it's built. And so the reality is to try to make a movie with nothing, without somebody doing the daily vlog for me, like recording this and editing and doing graphics and uploading and all that kind of stuff, without somebody doing all the social media stuff, and I could just sort of dictate it and then they run with it, without without that support, it's just going to be really, really hard. But my premise, my thesis is that it's doable. So I guess on some level, I'm okay with doing it all solo. I know that if people are watching this week after week after week and they're sort of keeping up with it, it's going to, at some point, maybe quickly, maybe it's already happened, maybe a couple months from now, it'll get to a point where it's like, there's just never any damn progress on this thing. And it's like, yeah, but that's what development is. Like, development is a slow grind. Development is a long process. Creating a movie, it's not all lights, camera, and action, right? It's not. It's the fun part that everybody thinks about with film and with movies is like sliver, and then the rest is just work and finessing and. You have an idea, you turn it into a script. We could do our synopsis by next week and then have everything ready. And as we start to flesh it out, go, oh crap, this doesn't work because that part doesn't make. And then you start over again, and you're it's all pushed back by a month. And I'm prepared for that. I don't know if as a show, the audience, you guys, if you're watching, if you're not me when you're watching. I'm not sure that you're prepared for that, because I think if you were, there would be a lot more buy-in to what I'm doing, because you would understand that like 1 year is nothing. It takes time to develop stuff. So where I'm at this week, I guess, is just that I'm totally okay with it. I'm fine. It's good. Yeah, like at certain points, I actually think I actually think like I don't want people to join me because I want to have to struggle through it. I mean, I don't really. I'm torn. Like ultimately, that would be the best way to prove it, to prove the thesis, that anybody can do it. The problem, not problem, what's missing from that is a full-throated embrace of the opportunity by all involved, including you watching, if you're watching. Not that anybody's watching. And I'm sure I may well be sounding like a broken record. I feel like I might be sounding like a broken record from the previous personal vlog entries, but really it's just this whole thing of like, if people would jump in, we could do more and we could get there faster, and as a result it could help more people. And that's always been like the frustrating thing to me. But where I am creatively is I just want to create. I'd rather not teach ever again. Somebody called me a teacher. One of the comments was like, "You're a great teacher," or something like that. I can't remember what the comment was. Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was, "You're a crappy teacher." Could well have been. Anyway, calling me a teacher, and I always think. And my thought was, and I can't remember if I replied. I can't remember if I replied on the comments or not. But my thought was, no. Experience is the teacher. I'm just the guide taking you along the experience. That's what FAST has always been in my view, and what this show is in my view. I'm not. I don't consider myself a teacher. I don't consider myself a guru. I don't consider myself the authority on all this stuff. I've learned a lot. I've amassed a lot of information. I've spent a lot of time going way down certain rabbit holes and piecing things together that can help people. But it's not about me. It's not about my voice or opinion or any of that stuff. It's about the experience. And the experience is your teacher. so so I never having really wanted to be a teacher, never having really considered myself a teacher in the classic sense. I know that I am, but that's not the way I think of myself. I'm ready to get into production. I'm ready to get moving. I'm ready to make stuff, even if I have to like. I guess part of what I'm getting at is that if I stopped all this, if I stopped doing the daily vlog, if I stopped focusing on trying to encourage people to do fast screenplay, if I stopped focusing on the Instagram, if I stopped or at least the fast screenplay Instagram, if I stopped focusing on all that stuff and really just went head down into the project that we're building and into the building of that stuff, I think I'd be much happier there. That's where that's the draw. That's where I'm wanting to go and what I'm wanting to be. I think the only thing that stops me from that and keeps me here, keeps me doing this stuff, keeps me wanting to build that larger picture, is just this real constant sense that it's bigger than just me and the movies that I might want to make. You know, it's like, I don't know. I like voices. I like all voices. I like cultures. I love travel. I haven't had a chance to travel in a while. Now I've got a little kid, not traveling much anytime soon. But I love that. I would always be somewhere else in the world every single week if I had set things up differently. And so why? It's because everywhere you go, there's people with different perspectives, different windows on the world, different viewpoints, different attitudes, different opinions, different ways of thinking, different foods, different artwork, it's all that variety to me is just so. I don't know. The variety to me is just so what life is, and so I don't just want to make my own little movies. I want to tap into all those. I want to make movies from writers all around the world. I want to make movies all around the world with writers all around the world, and we can do that today. It's totally totally doable, and so. So I'm juggling that. I'm juggling that urge and that thing that I want to build, and the firm belief that I don't want to just put a business plan together and go out and hit up some high net worth individuals and go pitch people on the business of it. I think from a business standpoint, the numbers totally work. So I believe that if I put together a pitch, any intelligent investor or business person would see it as an incredibly cool business opportunity. But it doesn't, there's like this whole like integrity level. If you're going to say that anyone anywhere can do this, I really believe you need to demonstrate that anyone anywhere can do this. And it's not that anyone anywhere can do this. It's you have to have core level writing skills. You have to have core level storytelling skills. You have to be able to corral the production, or if you're just a writer, and team up with local producers or whomever that can corral the production. And so I kind of feel like I have to do it that way. I don't have to. I think it's going to be more powerful in the long run once it's built if I do it that way. I really feel like when people look back on this series from 5 years from now, they'll just see it in a whole different way, and I want everything to be consistent. I want everything along the way to be like, no, he was about to give up there. Oh, I see his pain there. Oh, I see he was struggling. Damn, he expressed a lot of frustration along the way. But he stuck to it and he made it happen. And I think that in itself is going to make the studio stronger. And so where I am this week, at least, is I'm cool. It's good. It's all good. It's going to be I think it's going to be a lot longer a lot harder of a road than I imagined when I set out on the journey, which surprises me still, but that's as it should be, perhaps, you know, and it doesn't bother me this week at all. Like, I almost feel like it's like a secret power. So yeah, feeling good this week. So, anyway, that's the personal vlog entry for today. Do something similar for yourself. Find a way to tap into where you are at the moment, because that's the prompt for today. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Really do. And I hope you join me next week for more of these. And I definitely hope you'll join me tomorrow for Mindset Monday. Thanks for watching. See you then.